I wanted to look like I was being productive today with these glasses. So as I've mentioned in the past, I live a mobile life and have a mobile business as a digital nomad because I live my life online and I'm able to access it from anywhere as long as I can get on the internet or have some kind of data coverage. But no matter where I am, if I'm here in the RV or doing the van life thing or at the condo, in an Airbnb or a hotel, I can live and work remotely as long as I follow these tips for staying productive as a digital nomad and running my business and life online. So the top 11 work from home productivity tips for digital nomads and hacks that I use to stay organized while working remotely that I'm going to share with you today are: number 1, gear and accessories and essentials; 2, staying organized with systems; 3, alone time; 4, batching; 5, waking up early or staying up late; 6, automation and scheduling; 7, outsourcing; 8, taking time off; 9, saying no; 10, downsizing and minimizing; and 11, having a program. So let's dive in. Now, these are 11 work from home productivity tips that have helped me stay productive, organize, and focus as a digital nomad and entrepreneur running my online business on the road, and how I've been able to master working remotely. Because if you don't know my story, over 8 years ago, I actually quit my job, started my own business, and it eventually led me into RV life. But when I left that system, that 9-to-5 kind of checklist job that I had, where they told me everything about how to stay organized from 9 to 5 and all the systems and folders and automations that I was supposed to do and who to call, I had to figure that out on my own. I was my own boss. I had to create my own schedule. So if you really want freedom of your time, you actually have to sit down and plan and get focused and organized and use these productivity tips that I'm going to give you that I've learned and apply it in my own business and life to stay productive, organized, and focused. Oh, and if we haven't officially met, I'm Brandi. I'm an ex-corporate Kool-Aid drinker, born to be creator, and RV living digital nomad most of the time. But I teach other digital nomads and RVers and wannabes how to get into the same life, how to follow in my footsteps. So if that sounds like you and that's resonating, please hit the like button below. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications with that little bell icon so you're notified each and every time I publish a new video, kind of like this one. By the way, I've included all of these 11 work from home productivity tips in my ultimate guide to making money online that I've put in the description below this video. I've been talking about in the last couple of videos. So if you haven't picked that up, head to the description below this video and pick up my ultimate guide for making money online after this video is over. My digital nomad productivity tip number 1 when working from home is to have the right gear, accessories, and essentials. I can't tell you how many times I work with new students or people come to me and say, "Hey Brandi, I want to be a digital nomad. How do I do this thing?" And I say, "Okay, cool. Well, do you have your laptop? Do you have your files and folders?" The first thing that you do when you go to any kind of school or that you're learning to do something is you have to have that little checklist that you get when you start school, and they say, have your pen and your paper and your notebooks and your computer and your highlighters, a mouse. There's so many things that I went through. I talked about having a planner. I went through all of this in a prior video that you can check out below this video after this one's over, obviously, of my digital nomad accessories, gear, and essentials, and all the things that you need to get set up and actually be productive while you're working from home. If you want to work from home, you actually have to have all the things that you need to work from home to be able to do it productively, organized, effectively, and stay focused. Productivity hack number 2 for digital nomads and how to stay productive while you roam is to have systems in place to help you stay organized. So I stay organized with systems, which I referenced in a prior video, but I have all of my email and contacts and tasks, calendars, calls, everything, passwords, all in systems to help me stay organized. So I wouldn't be able to run my life online or on the road if I didn't have these online systems and if I didn't have these things in place. So you can check those out in the link below this video. I'll share a link to that video you can watch after this video is over. Productivity hack number 3 for digital nomads working from home is to do it alone. I love alone time. I'm alone right now. Solo female RV living, solo female van life. I cannot tell you how much I thrive when I'm alone. So quiet time, no noise, get away. Whether it's a day, a weekend, a week, or a month, you need alone time as an entrepreneur. And if you know me, an introvert, I may seem extremely extroverted because I make these videos, but believe it or not, I get really overwhelmed when there's lots of activity and noise and things going on in my life. I love this solo female RV life or solo RV life. Even when you're with a partner or someone with you, it's still nice to have that time alone because it allows me to make these videos, respond to emails, create content, get my course updated, thrive in my own environment, and kind of recharge my batteries. So if you've never heard of like introverted versus extroverted, it might be something you might want to look into. I have to have alone time so that I can recharge my batteries versus if I was an extrovert, then I would probably need time with people to get that recharge. But if I'm around a lot of people, I get overwhelmed. So I have to have alone time. My productivity hack number 4 for digital nomads working from home is batching. So if you're not familiar with what batching is, it means recording multiple YouTube videos at one time, writing several blog posts at one time, listing all your products for sale on your website at one time, writing all of your emails out, taking calls on certain days, ordering all your birthday gifts at one time, doing everything at one time. What I've kind of learned about batching is I followed someone and they told me, oh, you should batch 8 videos at one time so you have 2 months worth of content going out. I've tried that. I will tell you, I get really exhausted. If I was to sit down and record like 5 or 6 videos at one time, it is really exhausting. You can hear it in my voice. So what I've learned works for me in batching is I kind of like listen to my body. This week I wrote out a lot of my YouTube videos, or I already had kind of had the ideas written out, and so over the last month when I've come up with these ideas, I would put them into my content calendar or my task management system, which I talked about in my last video, and then I would maybe write out the blog post when I was feeling it. So in the morning time I really kind of get into my vibes, or if it's really late at night, and so I'll do all that at one time, but I won't record them. I'll just kind of come up with the ideas, and then one week or one day I might record 2 or 3 videos, or one week I might record 1 video. So at times I've done 1 video a week if that was what worked for me, but I find that gets really stressful. So then what I'll do is I'll record 2 or 3 videos per week. And so like right now I have a whole month of content scheduled and going out, so I'm not stressed to create content, because I can't create content in a stressful environment or when I'm feeling pressured. That's when my content kind of like loses its creativity, should I say. My 5th tip for working remotely as a digital nomad is either waking up early or staying up late. You have to be on when everyone else is off. Now, I naturally wake up at 5 a.m., but I do not communicate until after 9, meaning emails, calls, texts, social media. I don't look at any of that until after 9 a.m. I don't communicate until after 9 a.m. I look at it, and if I wanted to get a task done, say write an email to someone, I might write it at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., but I wouldn't schedule it to actually go out until maybe 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock that day, because I don't want to have constant communication coming in when I'm trying to get something done. And what'll happen if I post on social media or send out an email or publish a YouTube video is I'll start getting all of these communications in via email, text, comments, likes, response to my videos, and it will just kind of create this chaos in my head, and I can't create and be productive when I'm having to communicate. That being said, I actually will do this on days and off days. So sometimes I might only allow people to schedule calls with me on certain days, or like in the afternoons versus morning times. Depends on your workflow and what works for you. And so like I said, I either wake up early because the people that are around me don't wake up till later and I can get things done. So that's how we sleep when we're van lifing and hanging out. And so that way, if I want to use my computer while Naveen is over here just sleeping away, I can sit right here and type on my computer, and the dogs can hang out. So we also can put the smaller table here, but that's the front of the van up there. And my body naturally just wakes up at 5 a.m., which works in my favor or not, depending on which time zone I'm in as a digital nomad. Sometimes I might wake up and it's like 3 a.m., but the good thing is if I'm on like the West Coast and I wake up at 3 a.m., it's 5, 6 a.m. on the East Coast and vice versa. I can get things done. I just have to be on when everyone else is off, or I have to schedule things. Waking up early or staying up late, whichever one is your vibe. Sometimes I'll wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. and my little hamster wheels are spinning in my brain. I have to like just get something done, or I'll write a blog post. I may not post it, but I'll put it in my files, or I might come up with an idea for a YouTube video. I'll put it in my phone, or I'll type it out on my computer, or I'll write little notes about it, and I'll just wait and schedule it to go out later on. So my 6th work from home productivity tip for digital nomads is automation and scheduling. Now, I try to automate and schedule everything: calls, calendars, meetings, tasks. This actually got me fired from my job when I worked in finance, or at least one of my jobs, which led to a better job and a nice raise. I had scheduled all the tasks, all the meetings, all the birthdays out in a system called Salesforce, but I told you now I use a system called HubSpot for client relationship management, CRM, which I talked about in a prior video. Catch in the link below about how to stay organized online while working remotely. I had done this so well that my boss like didn't need me anymore. They would just go in and it would say like, hey, call this person, or hey, you have a meeting coming up. I had scheduled this out for years to come. So I had almost like worked my way out of the business, but it did work out in a good way for me because one, I got fired and got a better job, or laid off as they call it, is a whole nother story. If you haven't seen my story, be sure to check that out in the link in the description below. It led me to learning what I know now and how I've been able to automate and schedule systems in my business as a digital nomad and keep me productive while I'm roaming and traveling and working on the road. Tip number 7 for working from home and being productive as a digital nomad is outsourcing. Outsourcing means that someone else is doing the work. It can be a system or it can be a person. And when I'm talking about outsourcing, I'm talking about meal prep, video editing, email management, laundry, cleaning, all the different things that I do on a daily basis. I write a list out and I say, okay, is this something that I need to do? Is this something that I can defer for later on? Is this something that I can automate? Is this something that I need to delete? Or is this something that I can give someone else to be able to do on my behalf? So outsourcing is key if you want to be a digital nomad and especially an entrepreneur and run your own business. You cannot do everything yourself. At least in the beginning you can, but eventually you're not going to be able to do that and you're going to get burnt out and you're not going to be able to be happy in this life that you've created. Tip number 8 for how to become a digital nomad and work productive while you're on the road, my productivity tips, is taking time off. It might sound counterintuitive to take time off as a digital nomad and entrepreneur who's RVing or on the road all the time traveling, but taking time off would mean staying stationary in one place or taking time off from work related activities. I take time off every day. After, it could be 5, sometimes 9, I'll stop talking. Like I said, I start talking at 9, but I stop talking at 9 as well. So I take time off, and every day is different. It depends on the time zone that I am in. It depends on the mood and how I feel. At night, I start to taper off. Afterwards, I don't chat. And again, it depends on how I feel. If I'm busy, I never work the weekends. I'm an introvert. I mentioned this. I need time to recharge my batteries. And by taking time off on the weekends and at night, it allows me to do that. Just so you know, I don't like take time off and go party on the weekends or at night. That's not really what I do to recharge my batteries. That would actually exhaust me. I actually just like spending time alone or with my boyfriend or with my mom or my dogs, my grandma. It just helps me kind of recenter myself. I like to do things that I enjoy, and sometimes it could be writing, or sometimes I might just create a vlog, but I may never post it. It just depends on what makes me feel exciting. But I do enjoy hanging around real humans from time to time. It's just only the ones that I love. in my life, and my dogs, of course. Now, my 9th productivity tip and working from home productivity tip for digital nomads is saying no. Saying no, 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 no. No when it comes to money sometimes also can have to do with the return on investment of your time. I tell people all the time, money does not equal your time. Your time is valuable, and so you have to think, if I pay somebody else to do this, that could be worth my time. Or saying no to certain opportunities, saying no to business deals, saying no to jobs, saying no to people and parties and places and things and vacations. I had to say no this weekend because I wanted to go see my boyfriend, who left earlier this week because he's going on a trip, and I kept all the dogs, but he's actually like flying out on a trip. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be trapped in the city. I want to be out in the RV where I can get some things done alone. But it was really tempting for me to want to go back to the city. And he was like, hey, let me know if you want to come back this weekend. I really had to say no. It was really hard, but I knew that I needed this time alone. And so I've also had to learn to say no during business deals. I get a lot of people that come to me and say, oh, but I was just going to make this money over here. Well, you have to understand, saying no can mean something that you maybe want to do, but it's not worth your time. And in the beginning, yes, sometimes you're going to say yes to things and get paid for it minimal when you're an entrepreneur, but eventually you're going to learn the value of your time and how to say, no, that's not worth my time. I did a 5-video series for a company that found me on YouTube. They really liked some tutorial videos that I did, and they asked me if I would do some for them. But what happened was I had to learn an entire new system and do these videos for them, and I did it over Christmas, and my dog was dying, and it was just a miserable event. And so honestly, for the money that I made, even though it was hundreds of dollars per video, but it ended up being in the thousands of dollars, it was not worth my time. I don't care. I was in Vegas, I was with my dog, I was with my boyfriend, and we had this amazing trip planned, and I was sitting there making these videos for someone else and having to work when I really didn't need that money right then. And so again, while I talk about budgeting and getting your whole life together so you're able to say no to these opportunities when they come up, because you're like, hey, I don't need that money. I'm not chasing the dollars. I'm chasing my passion and learning how to turn it into a profit and value my time. Return on investment of your time as well. So my 10th tip for working remotely and being productive as a digital nomad is to minimize and downsize your life, or what I like to call becoming a minimalist. So becoming a digital nomad means becoming a minimalist. And if you know me and you know my story, then you know that I really don't have a lot of things. I told you my office setup that I shared with you and the digital nomad must-haves, but other than that, it would be my clothes, my toiletries, which are very limited. I don't wear makeup. If you know my story, I stopped wearing makeup after some things that happened in my life and what I learned about the system and my body. But I'm very simple. So I have a very simple life. It took me about a year to downsize. I made some videos about how I downsize, which you can check out in the description below this video and my story as well. But I talked about what all I did to get rid of the things in my life, from donating them to bartering them to selling them. I sold a lot of things to be able to fund my new RV life and digital nomad life and travels. And I gave up a lot of the things that I thought that I needed that I really didn't need. So there's a lot of things that you probably have in your life that you can either sell and get rid of, donate, barter, or just say, hey, these are the things I'm essentially going to need. So I always say, like, have a pile that you keep, have a pile that you sell, have a pile that you donate, and then have a pile that you trash. Downsizing and becoming a minimalist is also what helps me stay focused and organized and be productive while I'm working on the road. I can't work if there's tons of clutter and things going on in my life. I told you, chaos. I'm an introvert, so downsizing and minimizing is not just physical things, but also my digital life and doing a declutter as well. Now my 11th, I don't have any more fingers, but tip for becoming a digital nomad and being productive while you're working from home is to have a program. Having a program as your own, being your own boss and being a digital nomad and working and traveling is essential. And when I'm talking about program, I'm talking about a plan, a guide, a system that you follow, as well as a community to support you and a coach. I haven't really shared this a lot, and I would like to share more of this, but I've spent tens of thousands of dollars traveling all over the country, even out of the country, to meet coaches and people that I have idolized on YouTube and on TV, and people that have really taught me a lot of the things that I know, mainly about business. If you don't know my story, I was in a really bad accident, and so I really had to focus on my business versus sharing a lot about my RV life, and so that kind of took me internal. But I flew all over to meet these people. I invested in their systems. I invested in them to teach me what they knew. So now you know my 11 work from home productivity tips and hacks for digital nomads to stay productive, how I stay productive, focused, and organized on the road while I'm running my business as a digital nomad and entrepreneur. So I want you to comment below this video and let me know which one of these 11 tips resonated with you the most. Which one have you tried? Which one are you going to start doing first? Tip number 1 was to get all your gear, essentials, and accessories that you're going to need to work remotely and be a digital nomad. Number 2 was to stay organized with systems. 3 was alone time. 4 was batching. 5 was waking up early or staying up late. 6 was automation and scheduling. 7, outsourcing. 8, taking time off. 9, saying no. 10, downsizing and minimizing. And 11, of course, is having a program, a coach, and a system, a community that helps you along this journey and something to follow. If you didn't remember in the beginning of this video, I told you all of these productivity tips, as well as some of my tips for making money online and where you can find jobs to make money online, are in my ultimate guide to making money online from anywhere, which you can pick up below this video as well and check that out. Now, if you enjoyed these 11 tips for staying productive working from home as a digital nomad and how I'm able to stay focused, organized, and productive on the road and working, then please be sure to hit that like button below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and tap that little bell icon so you're notified each and every time I publish a new video. On that note, until the next video, be sure to check out the description below this video where all the goodies and links to the videos that I mentioned, the download, working with me, all that fun stuff is in the description below this video. That's where I put all the links. So if you're not checking the description, you're missing all of the good stuff. But until then, I'm Blogging Brandi. Thanks for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.